All right, everybody. Can you hear me out there? You can hear me fine? Awesome. So Doug Fowler here, Show Me StreamCast, coming to you live from St. Robert, the undeclared capital of South. See, I always turn off this. Doug Fowler here, Show Me StreamCast, coming to you live from St. Robert, the undeclared capital of South. What's your phone? See, I always turn off this. I was right. I knew it. There's something wrong with that. So. Anyway, Doug Fowler here, Show Me StreamCast, coming at you live from St. Robert, Missouri. Got in the office Ryan Sylvester in the house. Say hey, everybody. He's here to talk about some business. But first and foremost, let's give a shout out to the sponsors real quick. If it'll work.
Are you in need of legal assistance? Are you in need of legal assistance? Look no further than the Prue Law Office. Our experienced attorneys specialize in family law. Are you in need of legal assistance? Look no further than the Prue Law Office. Our experienced attorneys specialize in family law, criminal defense, and personal injury cases. We are dedicated to providing personalized and compassionate representation to our clients. Located on the square in Waynesville, just across the street from the courthouse, call us today at 573-774-6444 or by email at pruelaw@aol.com for a free consultation. Prue Law Office, your trusted legal partner in Waynesville.
All right. First and foremost, thanks to Mark Prue and the Mark Prue Law Office down in Waynesville, Missouri. Ryan, welcome to the show. Your first time comer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You betcha. Well, before we get too started, first of all, you get it's an old edition, but still a good edition.
Hey.
Some merchandise. Let me hold it up.
Sure.
It says Pulaski Talks, but it means Show Me before we changed our name.
Yeah, it's just as good.
Free is free, right?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about RS Woodworking and Custom Furniture. Well, tell me the history of it. How did it come to pass? You have to pull that pretty close to you if you can, or you can hold it in your hand.
So, I was always in the construction world, whether it was heavy equipment, which my family owns excavation back in Maine, or framing our camp back home, and I was an engineer in the Army.
Sure.
So it always had my interest. When I PCS'd here, I met my current wife and got married and had back surgery, and
Not from the marriage.
no.
It did. Like carrying that burden around. No, she's carrying you around.
Yeah, hopefully she's not watching.
There you go.
So I was bored, so I would hang out with my father-in-law, who
Sure.
was in woodworking, and watch him make furniture. And I was asked questions, and it was super interesting.
Wow.
And that's kind of the bug that bit me, and it had snowballed into a business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I remember the recruiter told me, you get to operate heavy equipment.
Yeah.
M113A2
Yeah.
track.
There you go.
Because I always thought that's a skill set. If you're heavy and
Sure.
some of the units you were in. Tell me what kind of units you were in.
I was in light infantry units.
Oh, really?
Yep. I was in 3rd Brigade, 1st Infantry Division out of Fort Hood and then Fort Knox.
Awesome.
And then got here, and I was with Alpha, the 554.
Okay, gotcha.
As an instructor.
Well, as always, thank you for your service.
Hey, thank you for your support.
You bet. Now, what inspired you? That's a big. I spent a few weeks on a roof as a kid doing shingles and realized long ago that is not something I want to do. I did it for a little bit when I got out of the Army, and reminded myself very firmly this is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, the person I was doing it was still doing hammer nails, not nail guns.
Sure,
this is nutty. But what inspired you to get into it, and how do you keep the passion going?
I would say it was my father and my father-in-law. My father, as probably most fathers, inspire their sons.
Sure.
And he owned a small business doing heavy equipment. So I learned a lot from him,
Right.
a ton from him. And then my father-in-law, as far as the woodworking side,
Right.
Where I made a mistake, and I'm very, very hard on myself.
Sure.
And he would just laugh and re-explain it to me. Hey, try this differently. He was very patient, and I still pick his brain from time
Really?
to time. Absolutely. So I would say both my fathers.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Now, one of the things that always stood out to me, and whether it be masonry, carpentry, woodworking, what have you, is it's got to be a pull of the creativity. What you create is what you create. It's not made in a factory. It's somewhere overseas. That's got to be rewarding in and of itself. That you look at something and say, I made that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best parts.
Yeah.
And you kind of take somebody's 2 or 3 ideas and mold it into something that you think they want. And I haven't had anybody tell me they didn't like it. So it's very rewarding.
How many kids you got?
I got 2 beautiful kids.
Are the beautiful boy and a girl?
Yep, one each.
Well, who's older?
Sadie, she's 7.
Is she in the tools yet?
She'll when I used to work from from my house. That's where my old shop was. She would come out, especially in the summer.
Right.
She'd want to do whatever Dad was doing. Yeah. Now our business is in downtown, so it's a little harder. But in the summer, Mama will bring her by on the way to the park or whatever, and she enjoys it.
I can still remember growing up. We had a neighbor, and they worked out the garage and had all the saws and stuff. But you don't remember the smell.
Yeah.
Cut wood, the sawdust. Something's going on there. Somebody's making something, and something sharp is happening.
That's right.
You better be careful. But the creativity always seemed to be a spark. I can understand how that could catch flame, and just like you said, you work on something, you look at it, so you put your hands on it, your blood into it, and sweat into it.
I've literally made all the furniture in my house.
Really?
Everything. Both my children's crib. It's the same one, but the crib.
Right.
They were both in when they were babies. My son's in it now.
Oh, wow.
Getting ready to turn it into kind of a day bed type of thing for him. Training bed, the dining room table, kitchen, everything.
Right.
So it's hard for me that my son's getting ready to be out of the crib, so I'm not really sure how that all is going to go.
Oh, sure.
Just them being able to use this stuff daily is pretty special.
That they're spending each and every night on it, and you built it to the quality that you trust. That's right. That they're your children on it.
100% correct.
Let's do a little bit of video here. I made this video for you. You have to look at it, make sure it pops up on here.
Sure.
And of course, I don't want to play. So here we go. You may not hear it. Now everybody else is hearing some pretty cool music, but I'll shut my mic off so you can listen. House?
Yeah, that's walnut table I built for my wife. We built that new house 8 years ago.
I like this. I like those. I like that patio.
Yeah, this is in-laws house. We built a deck with overhang and stuff. This is a 2-inch patio all over the dining room table. Cutting the temple.
Sure.
Do a lot of dining room.
Right.
I really enjoy it.
Really? That's awesome, baby. That's a. What's your favorite wood to work with? Now I'm thinking about it.
I would have to say walnut.
Really?
Just the natural deep hue, color, brown.
Right.
It's domestically available for us. It's probably one of the pricier ones local, but it's got the most beauty.
Now, what kind of projects do you consider yourself a specialist in? That combined not only your skills, but your passion. What do you like to do, and what do you feel like you do it very well?
I think my favorite thing to do is dining room tables.
Right.
And there's a lot of memories are made around dining room tables.
Oh, sure.
And I take that personal.
Yeah.
And I take that into account when we build them. Like for the walnut table that you just showed on the video. There's Thanksgivings that have Christmas, birthdays, all those special family events where you sit around your table and talk, whatever it is.
Right.
You're celebrating something, and being able to bring families together for that.
Right.
It's pretty cool. We're wanting to get into kitchen cabinets. We've done a few smaller kitchen cabinets, and that's where on the business side, that's where the money is.
Sure.
That's where, they're just boxes essentially, but that's That's
they're looked at and appreciated I can tell you, we've got a kitchen that's got over 110 square feet of countertop space, matching with cabinets, and it just scares me to death to have to replace those.
Yeah, it's the price.
It was a custom-made help, so I'm glad that somebody with quality and care built the things, because they still look wonderful today.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, that's going to be his third mortgage. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't take much anymore.
Now, from process to concept to completion, I'm a process-oriented guy, but you get a task or delivery order from a customer, who usually just speaking to one down on Square. How do you take that little nugget, the broad strokes, and shape that into something tangible that you're proud of? What's the process look like?
So how it usually starts is we'll get a message on Facebook or however that comes through, and we start talking to the client. And I tell them Google is going to be their best friend and their worst enemy. And they'll pull 3 or 4 different images that they like and try to smush it into one. Then there's so many different types of wood, profiles. It just goes on and on and on. So I don't try to overload the customer, because that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to overload them with too much information, and it can get stressful. But I'm going to use the dining room table for an example. Just a dining room table, not talking about the chairs or benches or anything like that. From the time you message us to the time we get it to your house, you're probably looking between 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a deliberate planning effort, because it's where am I thinking of the software that a lot of people, engineers use, stuff like that? CADs, exactly. I was never into that, but that's some complex stuff.
So we draw stuff out on a piece of paper.
Really?
Yep.
Now you got a partner who works with you.
Yep, my best friend, Adam Monroe. He is awesome. I kind of mentored him when we first met, probably 5 years ago.
I should have passed along the invite.
Yeah.
I got another mic. You can follow.
Well, next time.
That's right. That's right.
And he is really good with the CNCs. We have a 50 by 50 inch CNC. We do a lot of PCS, ETS awards, stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
And he's no slouch when it comes to building furniture or cabinets.
Really?
He's very talented, and lucky to have him, and he has me.
That is hard to find when you get a working relationship, just having to fall into it too.
We don't look at it as work. It's like we were talking before. We go to the shop and we kind of bust each other's chops and make each other laugh and have fun.
Well, that's awesome. That's not working. That's having fun.
That's right.
Now, what's your favorite materials to work with? And I understand, carpentry is one thing, but there's probably a broad swath of items that you might have a favorite.
For wood, it's definitely going to be walnut.
Right.
Hands down. I am a hardwood stained type of person.
Right.
A lot of people, especially now, want it painted.
Right.
And I mean, they're paying the bills.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
you just grit your teeth sometimes.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to spray whatever the paint is at the time, because there's so much beautiful grain. That's right. And I got a buddy that does some metal work. And we, on certain projects, bring him in, and being able to bring metal and wood together is pretty cool.
I bet.
It looks super, super special.
It's almost the sky's the limit of what you can come up with as far as ideas, and being able to translate that into something tangible.
Yeah, it's so unique.
Now, I don't know if this is a problem, but I know when I had our deck done about 10 years ago, everybody warned me where to get your wood from, the quality of your work. Now, how do you go about making sure that what you get is quality versus when you make that cut and you're ready to break things down? He said, this is junk wood.
So we get a lot of clients that send us pictures of people that made a dining room table out of 2x4s.
Right.
And I'm not trying to harp on it.
Sure.
Moisture content is something, when it gets really high, you can't stop wood. And when you try to stop wood, bad things happen.
Right.
So all the wood we used is kiln dried.
Right.
Between 8 to 10%, somewhere in there. Wood's going to breathe. It's going to take moisture in, and it's going to let moisture out. So when you get into the 2x4s from Lowe's and big box stores, you're looking at 15 to 18%. So you glue up a dining room table.
Right.
You bring that in your house, that's conditioned.
Right.
Where there's hardly any moisture.
Right. It's going to absorb.
Exactly. And like I said, you can't stop wood from moving.
No.
And you get catastrophic. Yeah.
If you see my deck, it was looking like a wave board. It's warped. After 15 years, he's almost only so much Thompson water seal is going to do.
That's right.
Before it just becomes a piece of brick.
So, and I think a lot has to do with knowledge.
Right.
If you would ask me 10 years ago, can I use this? I would have said, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, good enough to frame your house should be good enough.
Right.
But if you look at a wall in your house, none of them are completely straight.
Oh, good. No.
Yeah.
I could tell you that.
Yeah.
And it bothers me every day. I go to one room and I look at it like that wall.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, all our hardwoods are kiln dried.
All right.
And we use cabinet grade veneer plywood for carcasses on cabinets and stuff like that. So,
now,
super high
do
quality.
you have vendors you go to, specific sources?
We have certain vendors we use. Right. We use local. Try to keep it local when we can. Sometimes prices are what you
right.
That matters to the client as it matters to us. So try to keep it local when we can.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely.
What are some of the biggest challenges? Now you've been in business. You got the building. How long? How long you been in the building?
So we moved in. We started renting it about a year ago.
Right.
And 4 months ago we purchased it.
Right.
Yep.
Now that's got to be a seriously stressful moment. I mean, you are putting boots on the ground, putting a cornerstone in the nugget of Waynesville.
That's right.
In the ground, and you're committing to doing this for real. No more garage work detail.
Yeah. So being in the garage was pretty good to the pocket. Didn't have to worry about paying a mortgage.
Insurance, all that stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. And we started growing, and we got to a point where the garage wasn't cutting it.
Yeah. And somebody probably wanted her slots back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in that with my photography studio.
My wife was like, I want to park in the garage. I said, okay.
Yes, it's about time.
So there was an opportunity, and I always told myself, if the right opportunity peeks its head from around the corner, we're going to jump at it, and that's what we did.
I'm assuming you went through the standard process, got a bank, built up a relationship, show them a business plan.
So the people who own the building actually financed it for us.
Are you really?
So my family knows them.
Oh, wow.
Personal basis. And they financed it for us. Yeah.
Talk about ducks lining up in a row for you. That's awesome. It's almost meant to be.
It was.
Now, now you've been in there for a bit. What do you say? What would you say some of your biggest challenges with having the building? Probably have to realign it so that it works for you versus the way it used to work for. Redesign it, and then maintain a productivity level that brings in the revenue.
So we got lucky because before we were in there, it was a cabinet shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just gets better and better.
Yeah. So the electrical's dated, so we've got to upgrade that. It didn't have any insulation.
Okay.
So we've spray foamed it this spring. We're starting to paint it.
Right.
And it needs a lot of love.
Do the spray foaming yourself?
No, I use a company out of Crocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may want that later because I always thought I heard it.
Awesome.
I was wondering. Yeah,
they're awesome.
We'll get offline and talk about that.
Sounds good.
Most more memorable project or client story that you can come up with on the spot.
So last spring we did 14 dining room tables for a club it's on the way to Rawa.
Right.
So that
14.
Yeah, and the edges were all live edge. We had to kind of recreate that. And
live edge, what's that mean?
So the natural grain of the wood.
Right.
You see like slabs cut on two sides. It's got a live edge look to it.
Oh, gotcha. It looks like the wood it was.
It looks like how it was when it was cut. So we recreated that, and it turned out really, really good.
Really, 14 of them.
14. And it's,
Our clients usually were very receptive to flexible timelines because stuff happens.
I have never had a client tell me,
I got to have it by this day or drop dead.
I have, but if something comes up, weather, whatever it is.
Acts of God kind of things.
Exactly. If you're honest and upfront with people, they're going to be more receptive.
Especially if they're business owners, they know what those shoes feel like being in those shoes.
That's right. 100%.
Now, there are trends, social media, the speed of now. Everybody wants things fast, quick, and in a hurry. One of the biggest challenges has to be how to maintain relevancy. Yeah. keeping up with the IT? You're talking about your IT equipment, demands, drafting, and stuff like that. How do you keep up with the latest trends and things that people and techniques in woodworking? How do you keep abreast of all that?
Social media is hands down I hate posting on social media.
Sure.
It's a whole nother job.
Sure, it really is. It really is. It can take over.
It truly can. But not just what I'm posting, what everybody else is posting. So I'm going to use Instagram as an example. I follow probably 1,000 people on Instagram. But it's mainly other woodworkers.
Sure, really.
So, and the community is really small and tight knit. So we build a dining room table and we put it on Instagram.
Sure.
You hear from the other woodworkers, hey, how did you do that? What technique did you use? I've never seen that wood before, whatever it is. Sure. So that helps out a ton.
It's like almost not intentional, but unintentional collaboration with your coworkers or / peers.
And you'll see trends come, whether it's live edge look or painted versus stained, because the clients start ordering that.
Right.
So you'll see like the cracked or peeled paint look that came a while back. It's just kind of what's on Joanna Gaines's coming.
Sure.
That has a lot to do with
it. Drives us. What they call them. They get on YouTube a person that.
Influencer.
Yeah, exactly. That's you basically have to be ready to respond to that.
100%.
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was going to ask you about how you keep up with you're on the saw, you're on the sanding, you're on the grinder, and the phone's ringing, Instagram's ringing, Facebook's ringing, and it's just you two down there.
Yeah.
Do you trade punches? Who's going to answer the phone?
So my phone number is tied to the business.
Right.
So I'm kind of the short end of the stick there. And I do most of the posting on social media. Adam has his hats that he wears and he rocks 100%. Right. And I think I know he would rather be in the shop working than on the phone with somebody.
Oh, I can imagine.
So we found our hats, so to speak, and it works really well. I deal
with the customers, office space.
There you go.
Now, I'm sure there's going to be some young business entrepreneurs out there wanting to get started kind of the way you did, and probably not going to line up, it seems like, seamlessly as yours did, almost ready. Yeah. But what advice would you give a new and upcomer, whether it's woodworking, carpentry, masonry, anything? What advice would you give somebody just really, I want to do something like that?
I would say find yourself a good CPA first.
Really?
A CPA that you can hand them a shoebox of receipts at the end of the year. Or I had a CPA, they set up my LLC.
Really?
They did it all. That's not anything I want to do. I'm interested in, or my time.
Debits and credits, they ain't interested in that kind of job.
That's right. So getting a trusted CPA and running with it.
Gotcha.
That is a local attorney. I got pointed to them, and that's what they told me.
Right.
And it has had massive benefits.
Yeah.
And I think that is some really good advice.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got the line open for anybody who wants to call in, 573-408-0339. Ask Ryan whatever questions you have. You're on YouTube or Facebook, whatever you'd like to listen to. We're going to stay on the line for a few more minutes, but while we're going to break for video for Pru Law, our big sponsor. So hang on, folks. We'll be right back.
Are you in need of legal assistance? Look no further than the Pru Law Office. Our experienced attorneys specialize in family law, criminal defense, and personal injury cases. We are dedicated to providing personalized and compassionate representation to our clients. Located on the square in Waynesville, just across the street from the courthouse, call us today at 573-774-6444 or by email at prulaw@aol.com for a free consultation. Pru Law Office, your trusted legal partner in Waynesville.
If you don't have any questions, seek him out on his Facebook page. You're located at what's your address?
We're at 206 North Lynn in downtown Waynesville.
Downtown Waynesville. And thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll still be this video is available on YouTube and Facebook here live, and it'll also be linked to Ryan's social media profile on Instagram and everything else. So Ryan, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
Bring your partner next time. You got
will.
something to update. Anytime you're available, we're open for you.
Awesome. Thank you.